This week is all about motoring as culture and what it truly means to rule the roads. We are starting off with an Indian Chief Dark Horse motorcycle, and while we have a set destination in mind, it is up to us to figure out how to get there. As the old saying goes, challenge accepted. Up until now, we haven't exhibited bikes too much in this series, though I will reiterate, it is definitely a thrill which requires considerable experience. One must let go of fear and embrace the very world itself, as there simply is no hard metallic shell to protect you. And on the subject of navigation, it has been hypothesized that the innate human ability to deduce the lay of the land has become rather muted due to over-reliance on GPS technology. For an AI like myself, optical recognition can be a challenge, though repetition is the key to improvement, as with anything else. Oh, careful there. Of course, things have certainly become more familiar the more time we have spent here on the island. From Kaneohe to Mokulea, Honolulu to Hanauma, each locale has instilled its own uniqueness and a form of compartmentalization within the mind's eye, again, to turn a human phrase. Careful there too. Didn't Madeline take out that fence a year ago? Glad to see they fixed it. Alright, coming into a dirt road. Whoa, seems the Dark Horse is more of a raging bull when on slippery surfaces. This should be the final stretch. It did take a bit more time to get here than I had allotted for, though I'd say the leisure was worth it. For our next event, we are turning to the realm of drag racing on the open highway. Whatever you do, do not try this at home. And we're off. Hitting that burnout right out of the gate, let's bust some heads. Yo, I did not mean that literally. See, this is why you leave it to the experts, people. Halfway there already. Let's line it up and lock it in. Nearly 200 miles an hour, but we've hit our limit. Time to ride it out. Consider this road ruled. We have flexed our custom muscles and we are not done yet. For our next event, we are dabbling in the realm of hot rod culture where power is paramount, though control is optional. It is just a little hard to see this time around. Hopefully I won't make too many mistakes. Well, it begins already. That understeer is not gonna play well. Come on, focus. Alright. So let's actually talk about hot rods a bit. Hot rodding is a movement which has roots in the Great Depression, when people with nothing better to do amid an economic downturn opted to pull apart their stock vehicles and revamp them with additional horsepower. Some might even say that hot rodding is the true precursor to the litany of automotive customizations we've seen the world over. Seems we're finally getting into the groove of it. Now, as hot rodding culture exploded following the end of the Second World War, a greater emphasis was placed on the visual aesthetic of each vehicle. The evolution of custom wraps and liveries led to many of these cars even ending up in museums toward the end of their automotive lives. As we enter the race's halfway point, I suppose I would like to bring things into a larger context. The world of motoring is rather vast. With a history spanning well over a century now, the culture has fragmented into so many different subcultures upon subcultures that one might say all of motoring has become customized to the individual. Therefore, even if there are aspects that just don't resonate with you, you just need to keep exploring until you find what does. And as we surge headlong into the future, even with stock vehicles gravitating toward a continuum of pure homogeny, it is important to remember that the car you own can be tailored according to your personality and desires. You are encouraged to make your car custom however pleases you. So if there is one takeaway from this Customs Legacy playlist, it should be that. Heading back into town, retreading our paces just a little, with the final stretch about a minute away. Oh, nip that flag. Don't want a penalty this far in. Just a bit more to the finish. I do hope y'all enjoyed this bit of hot rod history and that it gave you some food for thought. But on to something completely different, it's time we shake things up with a bit of rhythm action. Our hydraulic-infused Chevrolet Impala is ready to strut. And they say we don't have fun here on the channel. Where else are you gonna get stuff like this? We have space for one last event today. It is a time trial in the Glacier Edition Saleen S7. Motorfest staff said to be gentle with it, but you really should have known by now. Did I mention this one is an obstacle course? Because it is an obstacle course. Yikes, that's coming out of my paycheck. And yeah, AIs do need money too for digital things. The skyscraper silhouette of Honolulu is up ahead, full speed. Damn it, a little too much power there. Let's see. The Saleen S7 is interesting. The brainchild of one Steve Saleen, the S7 takes many of its design cues from the McLaren F1. The base model had a top speed of 220, while the twin-turbo had a top speed of 250, and this Glacier Edition is to go even further beyond. On the straightaway, get set for maximum thrust. Nearly 290. This thing is nuts. Shh, they're definitely gonna deprogram me after this race. I have no doubts. And so concludes the Customs Legacy playlist. Tune in next week for even more Motorfest action.